Have I really just done what I think I've done? Yeah. I went out and bought a Gazgul Thraka just for Makari to enter a painting contest. So I start off doing the usual, as you know, the cutting, the chopping, the sticking, the sorting, the mould lines, the looking at the instructions. So with that done, it was time to figure out what it was that I wanted to do with this mini. And I had an old Chaos Demon banner, and I thought I could probably try and make it orky. So I found some old banner poles, and I got two decent lengths of it. So I tried to affix those to the banner and to Makari and see which one was best after obviously chopping all the lugs off and smoothing the edges. So next was to remove the corn symbol from the top, and I was deciding what I wanted to actually put on the banner at this point. And I started to take inspiration from the 90s miniatures, the old Gazgul and the old Makari, with the horns, with the red tips, and the vibrant paintings and banners that they used to have. And I thought to myself, yeah, those banners would be great. They'd be perfect to adapt to something else that I want it to be. But if it's a banner from that era, surely it'd have to be battle damaged as well. And just like that, with a little bit of cutting and chopping and sanding and gluing, we had a banner pole in position. So this time I decided not to abuse the WoW stick and just to use it legitimately, and I managed to drill a hole in the banner shaft to slot straight onto Makari's shaft with no problems at all. So if in the future I want to put his original banner on, I still can do. And with that done, he was ready for primer. Already. That was fast. And yet again, typical me forgetting that things need bases. So I used some milliput that I made into a sort of beam shape, and I managed to snap it off and make a suitable piece to affix to the back of the base. Then I resorted to using the good old modelling flock from the 90s, seeing as though this banner is going to be 90s inspired. And after yet again another thorough dousing in superglue and many a stuck finger and a sprinkle of sand, the base was ready. So then it was time for one final check and off for priming. So with a clean and tidy bench, clean palette, clean water, clean everything, and a brand new cheapo paintbrush from my local hobby shop, it was time to begin. But the problem was, where to begin? Do I do this brushwork or not? So I picked a bunch of colours and just got stuck in. So I decided to start with the base, and I figured I'd try and get some sort of light gradients on there. I was working with grey and white and picking on highs and low lights and midtones and seeing what I could achieve with the texture of the terrain. And again, because this is 90s inspired, I figured I'd use my oldest wash I could find, some good old Devlin mud. I figured it was appropriate. So next I based in all the greens, even the little helmet that is stood on as well, and it was pretty quick to do because he is only a small mini. And in no time at all, he was actually starting to look like something. And after a quick blast of metals and some yellow here and there, it was finally time to stick him together. Now, this was easy enough, but it had some very nasty crack lines in it that I had to solve afterwards. So next I wanted to try and add some sort of different tones to the base, and I decided to use a purple wash in order to contrast the yellow of the banner with the actual floor itself. Also, the purple will make it look a little bit more like tarmac opposed to just rubble. So next it was time for a quick all over wash to really lock in those lowlights, let him dry and start working on some highlights. And honestly, I was happy with how he was at that point, so I decided to start working on the banner. So taking inspiration from some other banners that I'd seen on Google, which were more of a 90s style, I freehanded some white edging in anticipation to put some black and white dags. Then I figured that I'm probably not going to be that accurate doing a circle, so I pulled out a piece of paper and a compass and I drew a circle appropriate size to the banner. So I popped the circle onto the banner and traced around it lightly with a pencil. Then I filled it in with black, and honestly I don't think I've done too bad a job. Now this is the only part of the banner that I used a stencil for, which I'm quite proud of. So with that all filled in, it was time to move on to some sharp lines for the edges. So I thoroughly prepared my brush and with a steady hand, I managed to do it. So I filled in a couple of tapered off dags on the sides to make it look as if it had been worn away over time. And it was really starting to take shape. I was really proud of myself. And that's when I decided to be brave, but also nervous. I didn't want to have the camera in front of my face whilst I was freehanding, but I decided to put on a mech banner and some good old explosion markers. And of course, the channel logo as well. And after a little bit more tidying up and a little bit more pizzazz, it was nearly done. And that's when I decided to have a go at doing glazes properly. And I'm really surprised with the results. It really is a powerful way of painting. You can get such colour variations and such accuracy with it. But obviously this was my first time and I think I was still applying it a little bit too wet. And with that done, he was ready to be taken off into town and popped in the cabinet in my local Warhammer shop. So, thank you very much for watching this video. I do hope you have enjoyed it. It's been an interesting one, and if you are local to Doncaster or whatnot, I would appreciate a vote. Wink wink, nudge nudge, etc etc. So yeah, that's my Golden Goblin entry for this month. Yeah, so next episode I'm going to either be doing the Death Dread or Copters, because I need to start getting my Combat Patrol together, ready for the Combat Patrol League, which will be starting in the local Warhammer, which I'm very excited for, because like I say, I've been a fan of the hobby for many years on and off, but I've never actually had a proper game of it, which is just sad. Anyway, don't forget to take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Goodbye.